Padre Pio spoke of death in a way that startled many. For him, death was not an end, but a quiet door. He said prayers move beyond time, touching souls unseen. One short line still shakes the heart. If you could see what your prayers do, you would never stop. What happens when a prayer leaves your lips? Where does it go? This video shares a simple truth about prayer as light between earth and eternity. Stay with us to hear it. Subscribe to Unseen Path, share, and comment below. Your support helps this message reach waiting hearts everywhere today. In the early years of Padre Pio's life as a friar, strange moments began to shape how he spoke about death and prayer. One quiet morning in the monastery sacristy, another friar noticed Padre Pio kneeling near the altar. He did not move. His body was still, his face calm, his eyes fixed ahead. An hour passed. The friar watched in silence, unsure if Padre Pio even knew he was there. When Padre Pio finally stood, tears were on his face, not of pain, but of peace. Later, Padre Pio explained what happened. During that hour, he saw a soul rise into heaven. It was a soul that had suffered long in purification. At the moment of release, light surrounded it, gentle and warm. Padre Pio said the soul did not speak with words, yet joy flowed from it. That vision stayed with him for the rest of his life. From that day on, his voice changed when he spoke about prayer for the dead. His words carried weight, as if he had seen what others could not. Another moment followed soon after. A man appeared to Padre Pio, looking worn and tired. He explained that he had died years earlier and was still waiting for peace. The reason was simple and painful. His life had lacked love and care. Yet one thing saved him. His daughter, still alive, had prayed a single rosary for him. That one prayer opened the way. Padre Pio said the man was freed because of that small act of faith. One rosary, prayed with love, had crossed the wall between life and death. These events shaped Padre Pio's teaching. He began to speak clearly about the power of prayer. He said prayers act as keys. They open doors that souls cannot open on their own. Souls in purification long for help, yet they cannot pray for themselves anymore. Their time for choice has passed. They wait, trusting in the love of the living. Padre Pio taught that love becomes their breath. Every prayer offered for them is felt. Each prayer shortens their path through cleansing and pain. He said even simple prayers matter. A quiet word, a short rosary, a moment of care can lift heavy burdens. Nothing is wasted. No prayer falls into silence. He reminded people that prayer does not follow human time. A prayer spoken today can help a soul from long ago. Time bends before God. Padre Pio warned that many forget the dead too quickly. He asked people to remember them with kindness, not fear. He said the dead are closer than we think, waiting in hope. For Padre Pio, prayer was not duty alone. It was an act of mercy. He believed heaven listens closely when love speaks. Every prayer becomes light, moving through darkness, reaching where hands cannot. Padre Pio often spoke about visits from souls who had passed from this life. He said they did not come with noise or fear. They appeared softly, like sparks moving through dim air. Their presence was gentle, almost shy. They did not wish to scare anyone. They came for one reason only. They needed light. They needed prayer. Padre Pio said these souls carried no anger. They carried hope mixed with pain. Many times, the souls would say very little. Often, they spoke just a few words. The most common request was simple and quiet. Remember me. They did not ask for long prayers or special acts. They only wanted to be remembered before God. Padre Pio said God allowed these meetings to wake the heart. They were meant to stir compassion, not fear. When people understood this, prayer became an act of love, not duty. Padre Pio explained that souls in purification feel forgotten. Time passes differently for them. 1 year can feel like many. When no one prays, the waiting grows heavy. He said even one prayer can change everything. A single mass, a rosary, or a small offering can send comfort like warmth in cold air. Souls feel prayers as light. This light gives them strength and hope. One encounter stayed strong in Padre Pio's memory. In the 1920s, he was walking through the monastery late at night. He noticed a man he did not recognize. The man looked calm but tired. His clothing was old, from another age. Padre Pio asked who he was and why he was there. The man replied that he had been a monk in that very monastery more than 200 years before. The monk explained his story with sadness, not blame. He said he had lived a quiet life but not a loving one. His prayers were routine, his heart often cold. When he died, he entered purification. Over time, people forgot his name. New monks came and went. No one prayed for him enough. He waited, trusting God, but longing for help. Padre Pio listened closely. He felt sorrow for the forgotten monk. The next morning, Padre Pio offered a mass for him. He prayed with full attention and care. He spoke the monk's need to God with humility. After the mass, Padre Pio felt a sudden peace. He later said the soul had gone to heaven. The waiting was over. Light had come. From this moment, Padre Pio warned people not to forget those who came before. He said memory is powerful. Prayer carries names across time. Souls do not need many words. They need love. He taught that prayer is never too late. Even prayers offered long after death can bring release. Padre Pio said these encounters were gifts, not burdens. They reminded the living that love does not stop at death. Prayer connects hearts beyond what eyes can see. Souls wait quietly, trusting that someone, somewhere, will remember them. Padre Pio explained Purgatory in a way that removed fear and brought hope. He said it is not a place of revenge or harsh punishment. It is a place of cleansing. Souls there are already saved. They are loved by God and are on their way to heaven. What remains is the cleaning of the heart. Every trace of selfishness, pride, and cold love must be washed away. This process is painful, but it is guided by love, not anger. He said Purgatory is like standing very close to God, yet not able to reach Him fully. The soul can see perfect love and feels sorrow for not loving enough in life. This sorrow is not despair. It is a longing to be made pure. Padre Pio taught that this longing itself is part of healing. Love is doing the work. Love burns away what does not belong. Padre Pio often reminded people that these souls are closer than we think. They are not far away or lost in shadows. They exist just beyond what our eyes can see. He described it as being behind a thin veil. The veil separates, but it does not block care. Prayers pass through easily. Love moves through without effort. When people pray, souls feel it right away. He stressed that prayer is not measured by size or skill. Every prayer counts, no matter how small. A short prayer spoken with care can be more powerful than many words spoken without love. He encouraged simple prayer. A kind thought, a whispered name, or a moment of silence offered to God all matter. Nothing given in love is wasted. Padre Pio spoke often about the Mass. He said the Mass has great power for souls in purification. He described it as a torch thrown into darkness. The light spreads far and wide. Souls feel this light and move toward it. They gather around it as travelers gather around a fire on a cold night. The warmth brings comfort. The light brings hope. He taught that when a Mass is offered for the dead, it reaches them in a special way. The sacrifice, the prayer, and the love all come together. This helps souls move forward faster. Even one Mass can lift heavy weight. Padre Pio urged people not to delay. He said the souls are waiting. Padre Pio also warned against forgetting small acts. He said people often think only great prayers help. This is not true. God sees the heart, not the length of the prayer. A simple rosary, a kind word, or a short prayer before sleep can shine bright. He explained that prayer joins the living and the dead in one act of love. The living offer help. The souls receive comfort. God gives grace. This exchange brings peace to all. Purgatory, in this way, becomes a place of hope, shaped by love and mercy, supported by the prayers of those still walking this life. Padre Pio taught that prayer does not move in only one direction. When people pray for the dead, the living are also blessed. He called this the circulation of grace. Love goes out, and love returns. Nothing offered to God stays empty. Prayer given with care always comes back, often in quiet and unexpected ways. He explained that souls who are freed through prayer do not forget who helped them. Once they reach heaven, they become strong helpers for those still on earth. Padre Pio said these souls pray with great fire and focus. They know suffering. They know waiting. Because of this, their prayers are powerful. They speak to God with gratitude and love. Padre Pio told people not to think of prayer as loss of time or strength. He said prayers return multiplied by mercy. A prayer offered for a soul may return as peace in the heart, strength in pain, or help during hard days. The living may not see the link, but grace is moving. God allows this flow so love continues to grow. He warned people not to stop praying once a soul is freed. Prayer keeps the bond alive, keeps the heart open. Prayer teaches trust. Through this sharing, both the living and the dead are lifted. No one stands alone in this exchange of care. One day, a grieving mother came to Padre Pio with heavy sorrow. Her son had died, and her heart was broken. She feared he was lost and beyond help. She cried as she spoke. Padre Pio listened quietly. When she finished, he looked at her with kindness and calm. He told her that her son was not far from heaven. These words brought her pause. Then Padre Pio added something she never forgot. He said her prayers were building her son's ladder. Each prayer was a step. Each tear offered to God became a piece of that path upward. Padre Pio explained that grief does not need to rush. Love moves better than fear. He told her not to push her sorrow away, but to lift it with prayer. Each prayer gave her son strength. Each prayer helped him rise. Nothing was wasted, not even her pain. He said a mother's prayer carries great weight. Love spoken through tears reaches heaven quickly. Padre Pio reminded her that prayer changes waiting into hope. Instead of looking only at loss, she could look at helping. Her role did not end with death. It changed. Padre Pio taught that prayer gives purpose to sorrow, turns grief into care, turns pain into help. Through prayer, love continues its work beyond the grave. This is how grace moves in a circle, touching both sides of life. He believed that when people understand this, fear softens. Death no longer feels like a wall. Prayer becomes a bridge. Love keeps moving step by step until all are lifted into light. Padre Pio spoke often about purgatory, not as a distant place, but as very near to us. He said it is not hidden behind walls or far across the earth. It exists close in the same world, but in a different way. Souls there are near, yet their eyes are fixed on something higher. They long for love and perfection. They do not try to escape suffering. Their hearts are full of hope, not fear. They wait for the final moment of joining God completely, and every prayer helps them move closer. He explained that purgatory is another form of life, not a punishment. Souls are being purified, made ready to enter the fullness of love. Their longing is for goodness, for holiness, for peace. They yearn for perfection, not freedom from God. The process is gentle, guided by love. The light of God surrounds them, and every prayer offered by the living brings that light closer. A short prayer, a rosary, or a mass has a real effect. It brings hope and comfort to those who wait. Padre Pio often described the soul's longing in human terms. They see the beauty of heaven but cannot yet reach it. Their desire is not to escape suffering but to become pure enough to meet God fully. Every imperfection must be refined. Love itself becomes the tool that cleanses the heart. Pain and waiting are part of this work. Souls understand what is happening, yet they cannot act alone. They need the living to pray for them. Each prayer lifts a weight, softens sorrow, and brings them closer to light. He said that the veil between life and purgatory is thin. Souls are not far away, but we rarely notice them. Their closeness is hidden by the limits of our senses. The living cannot see them easily, but their presence can be felt in prayer and in moments of quiet reflection. Each kind thought for the dead is received. Each act of love passes through the veil like sunlight through glass. Nothing offered is wasted. Padre Pio reminded people that this closeness changes the way we think about death. It is not a wall that separates. It is a hand extended, waiting for the living to reach out. Souls in purgatory are waiting for perfection, not punishment. They are longing to meet God fully, and they feel every prayer that comes from the heart. When we remember them, we join them in their hope. We share in the circulation of grace, lifting each other toward the light. He often encouraged simple, heartfelt prayer. The words themselves are not as important as the love behind them. A prayer said with care touches souls immediately. The light it carries reaches them where they are, turning longing into joy. Even the smallest act of remembrance becomes part of their path toward perfection. Through this closeness, the living and the dead remain connected, joined by love, hope, and prayer. Padre Pio's vision of purgatory transforms fear into understanding. It becomes a place of waiting filled with light, not darkness. The souls are near, their hearts open, longing for love and prayer. Every act of care moves them forward. This understanding changes how we see life, death, and the power of prayer, showing that even beyond this world, love continues its work. Padre Pio often spoke about the visible effects of prayer for the souls in purgatory. He said that when a mass is offered for the dead, something changes in the air. The atmosphere grows lighter, calm, and full of peace. Those who attend may not notice at first, but a quiet joy seems to touch the room. Padre Pio called this the joy of release. It is the moment when a soul finishes its purification and enters heaven. Love has completed its work, and the earth itself seems to respond, as if breathing easier for the freed soul. He explained that this change is not only spiritual but also felt by those living. People often feel an unusual calm, a soft warmth, or a sense of relief. Even small prayers add to this effect. Each prayer lifts the burden a soul carries. The Mass acts as a bright point of light that reaches through the unseen, giving comfort, hope, and peace. Padre Pio said that every act of love spoken in prayer touches the living and the dead, connecting hearts across the boundaries of life and death. Many times, Padre Pio himself saw the souls after prayers were offered. In the choir, he witnessed them appearing to silently thank those who prayed. They did not speak, yet their gratitude filled the space. Padre Pio described the feeling as being like perfume, delicate and sweet, surrounding the room. The souls stood quietly, full of love and recognition. Their presence was gentle but intense, reminding the living that prayers are never forgotten. He often said that souls love more deeply than the living. Their hearts, purified and focused, are entirely given to God and to those who help them. Gratitude becomes a living light. When a soul is freed, it carries with it remembrance and care for the living. Padre Pio emphasized that the bond of prayer does not end with death. Every sincere prayer strengthens that connection and brings joy to both sides. Even brief prayers have great effect. A rosary, a short offering, or a single word said with love can lighten the burden of a soul. Padre Pio taught that this is the work of mercy in motion. Souls feel every act of kindness and remember it forever. Their release brings light, and their gratitude spreads quietly, touching those who pray with warmth and encouragement. Padre Pio warned that we should never underestimate the power of simple prayer. It carries love, and love completes what the soul cannot finish alone. The living and the dead participate together in a circle of care, hope, and mercy. Through prayer, the heavy weight of waiting is lifted. Souls feel joy, the earth seems brighter, and the living are touched by grace. He explained that these visible effects, though subtle, reveal the truth of God's love. Love and prayer work in harmony, bridging life and the afterlife. Each prayer offered brings relief, light, and peace. Those who pray become partners in the work of grace, helping souls rise and experience the fullness of heaven. The effect is quiet, powerful, and lasting, showing that no prayer is ever lost and no act of love is forgotten. Padre Pio often spoke of the power of a single Mass offered with love. On one winter morning, he described an extraordinary moment during Mass for the souls in Purgatory. As prayers rose, he saw a multitude of souls lifted toward heaven. Their movement was smooth and gentle, almost like birds carried by the light of the rising sun. The souls were not noisy or frightening. They moved quietly, full of peace and joy, their hearts freed by the prayers of the living. He said the effect of this Mass went beyond the specific souls named in the prayers. The energy of love spread to many others, reaching souls who had no one to remember them. Each prayer acted as a torch, lighting the path for many waiting hearts. The warmth of the Mass did not stay in one place. It moved outward, touching unseen souls and bringing relief to their long waiting. Padre Pio said the effect was like a fire that warms more than one traveler, spreading light and comfort far beyond the original intention. The souls appeared joyful, full of gratitude, and entirely focused on God. Padre Pio noticed that some came closer to thank the living, their presence gentle but intense. Their joy was felt as much as seen, filling the air with a calm and bright peace. Even small acts of love, such as a whispered prayer or a short rosary, added to this effect. Every prayer contributed to the release of souls and the spreading of light. He emphasized that the living play a vital role in this circulation of grace. Prayers offered with care have a ripple effect. Souls who are freed often continue to intercede for the living, creating a chain of love and mercy. One Mass, one prayer, can create a wave of light that reaches far beyond what we can measure. Padre Pio reminded people that no act of prayer is wasted. Every intention, spoken with love, reaches beyond the veil, helping many souls at once. On this winter morning, the light of the Mass seemed almost tangible. Souls rose freely, leaving behind the weight of purification. Their joy became a presence that could be felt in the room, even by those unaware of what had happened. Padre Pio said that the prayers created a bridge between the living and the dead, showing that love and care continue across life and death. He also spoke of the lasting impact of such moments. When a soul is freed, the grace spreads quietly, unseen by most, but real. The warmth touches the hearts of the living, bringing peace and hope. Padre Pio taught that this is the work of mercy, simple yet powerful, connecting hearts beyond what the eye can see. Through the winter morning Mass, the power of prayer was made clear. Souls were lifted, light spread, and love completed its work. Every act of care, every prayer offered in sincerity, contributes to this flow of grace. Padre Pio's words remind us that prayer moves beyond names and time, touching many, lifting many, and spreading peace where it is most needed. Padre Pio once described a vision of purgatory that stayed with him throughout his life. He saw a vast landscape stretched under a gentle twilight. The colors were soft, neither bright nor dark, as if the world itself waited quietly. Souls moved across this land, walking steadily toward a distant light. They were not running or fleeing. Their movement was slow but certain, guided by hope and the desire for purity. Each step brought them closer to the light of God's presence. He noticed that some souls moved more quickly than others. These were the souls for whom prayers were offered. Each prayer lifted a burden, made the weight of waiting lighter, and helped the soul move forward. Padre Pio said that the prayers of the living act as a quiet power, carrying souls along the path. The effect was not forceful but gentle. Every rosary, every Mass, every simple prayer became a step of grace, easing the journey toward heaven. The landscape itself seemed calm and alive. It was not dark or frightening, but filled with a soft stillness. Souls were aware of their surroundings, feeling both the weight of what remained to be purified and the comfort of hope. Padre Pio said this is the nature of purgatory, a place of transformation where love and mercy work together. Pain is present, but it is purposeful. It is the refining fire of the soul, preparing it to meet God fully. He also explained that souls in purgatory are aware of the prayers sent for them. They feel each act of love, each word of care. Prayers do more than guide them. They lighten their load. Even a small prayer can make a noticeable difference. Padre Pio often reminded people that no effort of love is wasted. Each prayer is received, remembered, and used to help souls move more quickly along their path. The distant light called to all souls, steady and bright. It was not harsh, but full of warmth and promise. Every step toward it was an act of hope and trust. Souls carried the memory of their life and the weight of imperfection. Yet every prayer offered made the burden easier to bear. Padre Pio said that the living can influence this journey in powerful ways. Their love and remembrance transform waiting into progress. In his vision, Padre Pio saw that the land of purgatory was not a place to fear. It was a place of work and preparation, filled with movement toward light and love. Souls walked steadily, encouraged by prayers, growing lighter as love moved through them. The gentle twilight and the distant glow reminded him that hope is always present, and that the prayers of the living carry souls closer to the peace of heaven. Through this vision, Padre Pio showed the connection between the living and the dead. Every prayer offered, every thought of care, has the power to lift, to guide, and to bring light. Souls are never forgotten, and their journey becomes easier when remembered. In this quiet landscape, love completes its work, step by step, moving every soul closer to the light they long for. Padre Pio's teachings on prayer were often mysterious, yet full of hope. He explained that prayer does not follow human time. It can reach souls who died suddenly, violently, or far from help. God exists beyond time, and through him, graces can flow backward and forward. A prayer said today may reach a soul who passed years ago or a soul about to take its last breath. Padre Pio often reminded people that no soul dies without being touched by love. Prayer becomes part of God's mercy, joining the living and the dead in one act of care. He described the effect of prayer as real and tangible. After praying for souls, he often noticed a sense of overwhelming peace. This was not imagination or wishful thinking. It was a spiritual echo, a sign that a soul had entered joy. The room, the air, and even the heart of the one praying seemed lighter. Padre Pio said that these signs are proof that prayers reach beyond sight and touch. They carry the power of love and mercy to the souls who need them most. Even in his final years, Padre Pio continued his intense intercession for the souls of the departed. His body weakened, yet his spirit remained strong. He often sat quietly, holding his rosary, whispering the names of the souls he wanted to help. He prayed without pause, with deep focus and tenderness. Each name was lifted to God with care. Every prayer became a bridge, carrying love to the souls waiting in purification. Padre Pio spoke of his desire when he finally stood before God. He wanted to be surrounded by those he had helped through prayer. His concern was never for himself, but for the souls who could not help themselves. He believed that by offering prayer, one becomes part of a greater work of mercy. The love we send through prayer reaches far, touches many, and continues to return to those who pray. His life showed the extraordinary power of prayer offered with intention and love. It was not only about reciting words or performing rituals. It was about the heart, the care, and the willingness to remember those who cannot pray for themselves. Every act of prayer, whether long or short, transforms both the soul prayed for and the soul praying. Padre Pio's faith in the living and the dead shows that prayer connects all life, across time, space, and even death. Through his teachings, Padre Pio encouraged people to pray without fear or hesitation. He reminded them that even small, simple prayers carry power. The souls feel them, the world changes, and mercy spreads quietly but effectively. No prayer is wasted, and no soul is left untouched when love moves through devotion. Every prayer builds light for the waiting, shortens the path of purification, and fills both heaven and earth with grace. In the end, Padre Pio's life and teachings remind us that prayer is a powerful gift. It does not belong to time or space, and it works beyond what the eye can see. Through prayer, we participate in the work of mercy, offering light to souls, hope to the suffering, and peace to hearts burdened by sorrow. By remembering the dead, whispering their names, and praying with love, we join a circle of care that stretches across life and death. Prayer becomes the bridge between hearts, the messenger of love, and the source of enduring peace. Padre Pio's message is simple yet profound. Every prayer matters. Every act of love reaches beyond life, touching souls who cannot pray for themselves. His life shows that even the smallest prayer, spoken from the heart, carries grace, joy, and mercy. Prayer transforms waiting into hope, sorrow into care, and longing into light. Through it, love never ends, and no soul is ever truly alone.